Hey students, this video is about blogging and how to leave good quality comments. I'm going to give you 5 good ways to leave quality comments, and all this isn't quite my idea. I got these 5 ideas from Linda Yallis and her students. They made this awesome video on how to write a quality comment, which is quite impressive, so I consider you to, or I ask you to check that out sometime. It's pretty cool. But I'm going to take that and adapt it to my 8th grade science class, and we've got some great blogs and great examples to take a look at. So I'm going to point out 4 different examples and give you some tips. So here we go. Let's do it. The first thing you might want to try in leaving a comment is leaving just some sort of positive feedback, some sort of compliment that makes the writer feel good about what they wrote. And in doing that, you encourage them to write more things like that, and it just makes them feel good all around. So an example of that might be from, let's take a look at Aubrey's blog here. She writes about dreaming, and as I thought about her post, really cool post, just talks about all these little random facts about dreaming, such as every night you dream, you will forget about 90% of your dreams after being awake for 10 minutes. And it goes on and on. I really like lots of it. But anyway, if I were to write a compliment about this blog, it might look something like this. Good comment. My favorite part of your blog was the fact that it was about sleep. One of my favorite things to do. You know, that's a great comment. It's quick, it's short, but it's pretty cool. It shows her that what she wrote about was interesting to somebody, so that's cool. You want to avoid comments that are just short and not really specific. So things like, I like it, or great job writing, or you're so great at writing blogs. Those are not specific comments, and they don't give the writer any real good feedback. Sure, they might feel kind of good, but there's nothing really specific about it. The next thing you might try is adding some factual content that you know that the writer may not. So let's say you read a post about something that you understand or you've heard about before, and you were like, oh yeah, that reminds me about that. Well, that would be like something you could write about and then maybe connect and add some new factual information to the post. Maybe you even want to do a little extra research and go find something. So, for example, let's take a look at Jacob's blog. All right, Jacob's blog right here is all about contacts. And he's got some really good facts about contacts. He learned about the history of contacts, and in fact that the first contact lenses were secured with wax. Well, that was kind of crazy. Soft contact lenses weren't made till 1971, which made contacts more comfortable, and so on and so forth. Very interesting post. But what it made me think about was back in high school, I knew some guys that had bought cosmetic contact lenses, and they were kind of creepy looking. It was actually a football player who had bought some contact lenses to make him look almost possessed. So here's my comment. This is what I would write about him. I'd say, I read your post and made me think of a guy I used to know in high school that bought cosmetic contact lenses. Not only did they correct his vision, they also made his eyes look like he was possessed. He was a football player, so he wanted to mess with the lineman he went up against. When he looked up, they saw something different than usual. Pretty interesting. Here's an image I found that kind of shows what I'm talking about, and then you can post that link, in the comment, and what I'm talking about is this right here. Whoa. And you can get all kinds of these different contacts and everything, but it's new factual content, something that I can add to his post, enrich it, and make him more interested, and just all around a good quality comment. The third thing you might do in making a good quality comment is making some sort of connection to the author. If they do something that kind of relates to you or an experience you've had in the past, maybe you can cite that in one of the comments and leave them some good feedback. So an example that I thought of was from Will. Let's check out his blog. Will's blog was about science and games, and specifically he talked about Call of Duty Black Ops. And we've been studying something about radioactive elements and carbon-14, and he remembered something in Black Ops about some radioactive element, and he talks about the storyline and whatever. Pretty interesting stuff. But it made me think about something that I had experienced in college too. So my comment, the way I connected, was like this. I'd say, I play COD too. In college I played more Halo, and I questioned if any of it could be true. Could suits really be made to deflect bullets like that? Could you genetically modify someone to become a superhuman like the Spartan soldiers? While I know it's just some game designers' crazy ideas, it would be amazing if we could duplicate something like that, some of that technology. So again, I kind of made a connection to his post, and that's a really good quality comment. So make all kinds of connections, any kind of connection that you want to sort of enhance the post. The next type of comment you might leave in a blog is just a question or two. Maybe there's something that you're more interested in that you want the reader to research more about, or maybe you think that the reader might know something that you don't, so you just want to ask more about it and find out more about it. Well, a specific one that came up in my case was that one of my students was writing about horses. So let's take a look at Emily's blog. In Emily's blog here, she talks about the gaits of a horse, and I had no idea what she was talking about, gaits of a horse, but she goes on to talk about how horses just walk, trot, canter, gallop. And I kind of know what those words mean because I've ridden horses a couple times, but I was curious also, I learned from this, but I was also curious about the intelligence of horses, and just kind of looking at her post, it seems like she's really into horses, so I figured maybe she could answer some of my questions and maybe a future post or something. So what I wanted to ask her was this. So take a look at my relevant question. It says, I grew up on a farm that raised cows. They're pretty dense animals. Every time they blink, it's a new day. I'm serious, they really are kind of dense. How intelligent are horses? I've heard they're a lot smarter than cows, but I just wondered why. What are some things that horses might make you think what are some things that horses do that might make you think they're intelligent? So yeah, that's a great comment. It kind of gets the conversation going. That's really what you're shooting for when you leave comments, is you want to get a conversation going so you can interact with people online. The fifth thing I'm going to share with you is not really a new way to write a comment. It's not an idea, it's actually how to make your comments look better. And it has to deal with proofreading and capitalization and punctuation and texting language. So for example, let's take a look at this. First thing you want to do is make sure every sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with punctuation. That's just basic grammar. The second thing you want to do is make sure that you don't overuse punctuation. Exclamation points, great, just use one. Question marks, just use one. Two maybe, but too many is pointless. Just get that straight. You don't want to use too much punctuation is not a good thing. Make sure you capitalize the letter I. I know when I'm using my iPad or my iPhone, sometimes the I doesn't capitalize on its own, so just keep that in mind. And also use other correct punctuation and avoid using too many texting shortcuts. If you use too many texting shortcuts, your sentence might look something like this. I look immature and it doesn't look right if I don't capitalize I's or use good punctuation spelling, and I'll please write out the words LOL and TY and TTY, well, LY. These are just little things to help you. I'm not going to say it's a sin to use texting language and shortcuts. It's really not. But if you use too much of it, you might end up confusing your reader, or somebody may not actually speak that way or text, and who knows. You know, you just got to make sure you keep that in mind as you leave your comments to leave the best impression. Well folks, those are my 5 ways to leave high quality comments on other people's blogs. Let's review them real quick. Number 1, compliment the writer in a specific way, and make sure it's specific. Don't just say I like your blog or I think you're a great writer. I mean, be really specific about why you think their blog is great or why you think they're a great writer. What part of the blog made you think that? 2, add some sort of factual content to the comment, to the blog. You know, if you know something about their topic that maybe they don't, or you think you can add to the conversation somehow, do it. It's a great comment. 3, make a connection somehow. If there was something personal that you sort of experienced that related to their blog, that's a great comment. Go ahead and talk about it, write that as a comment. 4, ask a couple questions. Ask 1, 2, 3, whatever. If there's something that you want to know that you think the writer might be able to kind of fill in for you, or something you're curious about that maybe you want them to research, do it. Ask it. That's a great comment, a great way to give them some feedback. And then 5, just make sure you guys proof your posts. Make sure there's no, lowercase i's, too much texting language, and the overuse of punctuation or lack thereof. That's it. 5 cool ways that you guys can leave some really high quality blog comments. Take care. See you later.